In today's video, after 7 years on dialysis, a CKD patient is able to come off dialysis entirely thanks to a comprehensive, gut-focused, natural protocol. And the most incredible part, for the following 5 years, this now ex-dialysis patient never needed any renal replacement therapy at all. Catherine here, I'm a doctor of natural medicine, and during the last 10 years, I've been on a mission getting as many CKD patients as possible to avoid dialysis. But what if there was a way to get dialysis patients out of dialysis? No, I'm not talking about a kidney transplant. I'm talking about a natural intervention that focuses on reducing toxin buildup and, most importantly, on employing your gut and your skin in order to get rid of scores. Well, maybe there is. In fact, while I was on a mission to get you to avoid dialysis in the first place, a doctor from Turkey was on mission to get his patients to stop dialysis even years after it started. And the most incredible part, he is actually doing it. Yeah, this is him interviewing some of his patients. And the best part, this nephrologist, Dr. Toprak, published a 4-step protocol to get his patients out of dialysis. By the way, guys, even if you are not on dialysis and you just want to improve your kidney health, these 4 steps will still be able to help you. And don't miss the last part in particular, because Dr. Toprak outlined the medications that are absolutely forbidden to patients that want to improve their kidney health. And let's see how this works immediately. But first, if you find this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with some who needs it. And a quick reminder, what we're discussing is experimental. Please talk to your doctor before making any changes to your treatment plan. Okay, that said, let's see immediately the first step. Step 1 is use your gut to get rid of toxins. So yeah, the first step is the most surprising, using your digestive system to eliminate uremic toxins. This idea isn't unique to Dr. Toprak. For example, Dr. Amir Al-Musawi from Iraq uses acacia fiber in a gut-centered protocol, and his results were also published. His patients got off of dialysis. There are also studies using activated charcoal and chitosan in CKD patients, all aimed at one thing: reducing the toxic burden through the gut. This is the real cornerstone of these approaches. So yeah, keep this part in mind because it can be really useful in all the stages of kidney disease. And most protocols do this with high doses of acacia fiber. But Dr. Toprak, he takes a different route: fermented foods and probiotics. Let me show you what he actually prescribes. First of all, homemade yogurt in small amounts. Interesting. And I have no doubt this yogurt is homemade to avoid pasteurization. Because you see, most store-bought yogurts don't have live probiotics in them. Pasteurization destroys these probiotics. Something else he recommends is apple or jujube vinegar. But just like for yogurt, most brands don't have live probiotics in them. So be careful. Now, something else here is a special sauerkraut preparation, as we can see. Because while traditional recipes are not pasteurized, most commercial brands are, alright, negating the benefits, not to mention the sodium content. Now, of all the foods he recommends, kefir here is probably the best one. It has a bigger number of CFUs compared to yogurt and sauerkraut, and people usually eat kefir for the probiotics, right? Which means you are more likely to find kefir products with actual live and active probiotics on the supermarket shelves compared to yogurt and sauerkraut. And I know what you may be thinking right now, but Catherine, you always say that dairy is bad for us because of the protein and phosphorus. Well guys, that still holds true. In fact, Dr. Toprak actually used this protocol in dialysis patients, but if you're not on dialysis, be very careful. And I should also mention that you can get way more probiotics from a single pill than what you get from all these foods combined. But the big question is, can taking probiotics really get patients out of dialysis? Well, we know today that consuming probiotic supplements and foods may not just help with gut health issues, with blood sugar levels, immune function, mental health, and more. It may directly help the kidneys do their job. Because you see, what most people don't know about probiotics is that these good bacteria can actually consume uremic toxins. You know, stuff such as urea, uric acid, and creatinine, p-indoctyl sulfate, and more. Yes, there are certain probiotic strains that can actually feed on these kidney damaging toxins. So while probiotics are just the first step here, they can absolutely help. Now guys, I want to take the chance to talk about something I'm really proud of. Working with CKD patients, I've always seen how powerful probiotics can be, but I've also seen the struggles most people face with gut sensitivity, IBS, and other GI issues. The truth is, when you start a probiotic supplement, you may feel a lot worse before you feel better, which means that in many cases, those that will need a probiotic the most can't even take it. This is why I created the Renabiotic. Yes, this is the first probiotic supplement in the world that's made for CKD patients, and that's also low FODMAP and perfectly safe for patients with gut sensitivity issues. It's gentle, effective, and 100% CKD safe. It includes specialized strains that feed on renal toxins, reducing their impact on your kidneys. You can learn more using the link in the description. It's called Renabiotic from renabiotech.co. And if you're struggling with gut issues or want to support your kidneys, this could be a great step forward. Okay guys, back to the Toprak protocol. Let's talk about the next step. Step 2 is all about getting rid of excess fluids. We just saw how to reduce toxin buildup, but that's not enough to get dialysis patients to stop dialysis. When fluids build up, they can cause a lot of problems: swelling, high blood pressure, trouble breathing, and more. So, how do we get rid of all this excess fluid when our kidneys aren't working anymore? Well, what Dr. Toprak prescribes is a comprehensive approach aimed at making sure your skin is your third kidney. Yeah, let's talk sweat therapy. When you sweat, you get rid of potassium, sodium, urea, toxins, and excess fluids. But what can you do to sweat a lot more on a daily basis? Because your kidneys are supposed to be removing fluids all day and all night. Jogging for 15 minutes a couple of days a week is not gonna cut it. You really need to sweat a lot more every day to turn your skin into your third kidney. Best way to do that is walking a lot, preferably where it's hot. Actually, Dr. Toprak explicitly recommends barefoot walking on grass for better lymph drainage. And yeah, this is going to be much easier for people that live in a hot climate, maybe near a big park with some grass, but even if it's cold where you live, you can still find ways to walk and sweat. Have you ever seen athletes wearing a plastic bag over their clothing when running in order to sweat more and lose water weight? Well, you could do something like that. It will make you sweat a lot more. Of course, if you have access to a sauna, that will be even better. Now, as you can see, the protocol is not all about sweating. Remember that this protocol is being used to get patients to stop dialysis even after several years, alright? So, what more can we do to get rid of excess fluid? Well, the next part is sodium restriction. No added salt is allowed if your goal is getting out of dialysis or not ending up in dialysis in the first place. And the last thing here is avoiding constipation at all costs. Because, of course, if the gut is the main way in which we can get rid of toxins and fluids, it must work. Now, as you may have noticed by now, our new favorite nephrologist of all times is a bit of the barefoot walking 3 hugging type, so of course he completely forbids prescription laxatives, alright? Instead, what you should use to make sure you are regular is olive oil, boiled veggies, fermented foods, and magnesium. That's a very solid strategy, by the way, and it will for sure get things in motion again. Now guys, the next step is even more important because it's all about cutting dangerous medications from your regimen. Yes, there are certain medications you absolutely shouldn't be taking if the goal is getting out of dialysis. But before we move on to the next step, there is a question that needs an answer. Is this protocol going to work for every single dialysis patient? Well guys, while this protocol actually works, it comes with a caveat. This protocol won't work for every patient. There are specific criteria. Most importantly, you must still produce urine, at least 750 milliliters a day. Yes, unfortunately, patients not making urine anymore are not likely to be able to stop dialysis, not even with this method. Patients with serious comorbidities or electrolyte imbalances also won't qualify. So my recommendation, don't wait until dialysis becomes the only option. Use these strategies now as prevention, and this is where I can help. If you want to start applying some of these strategies in a safe, structured way, I offer one-on-one consultations. We'll create a custom treatment plan based on your stage, labs, and symptoms. This includes a science-backed, fully personalized renal diet supplement guidance and more. To get started, email me at catherine@newhopeforkidneypatients.com or click the link in the description. Okay guys, let's talk about the medications that are absolutely forbidden for patients that want to get out of dialysis or to avoid it. So as you probably imagine, most of these medications are used to control high blood pressure and fluid retention. I mean, we spent 10 minutes discussing ways to sweat more. That should have been a big clue that blood pressure medications can be dangerous for certain patients or useless. So let's talk dangerous stuff first. Potassium-sparing diuretics. These are on top of the list, but I don't believe many stage 4 and 5 CKD patients take spironolactone. I mean, at least I hope. Anyway, something many patients take are ARBs and ACE inhibitors. But these usually do more harm than good when kidney function is severely reduced, and the dose must be adjusted, or if possible, they should be avoided. And you will see a complete list on screen. But the bottom line here is that the less medications you need to control your blood pressure, the better. That's why we discuss in depth how to control it naturally today. Now, when I say that patients need to reduce their need for medications, some people think that it's acceptable to walk around with a blood pressure of 200/160. But guys, that's not what I mean. That's never what I mean, alright? You should first make sure you are doing all you can to keep your blood pressure in check naturally. Fluid intake control, sweat therapy, exercise, the diet, cutting sodium intake, and so on. Then you can talk with your doctor about reducing the medications, not the other way around. I hope this is clear. Okay guys, step number 4. Let's move on to the final step of the method to avoid dialysis. So we talked about probiotics and gut health, about how to get rid of excess fluid and toxins naturally, about what medications to avoid. What are we missing? Of course, it's the low protein diet. Yes. If CKD patients want to stop dialysis, they will absolutely need to cut their protein intake completely. In fact, as we can see, the patient that was able to stop dialysis after 7 years did so by drastically cutting their protein intake. I know this is a bit technical, but here on this table, you can see how his protein intake was reduced. It was 1.2 grams per kilograms per day to begin with, and then it became 1 gram and finally 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Now, I understand that for most people, these numbers mean nothing. So here's the deal. 0.8 grams per kilograms a day of ideal body weight means a diet that is completely plant-based, alright? No meat, no dairy, no eggs, no fish. And I understand that this patient was given some small amounts of yogurt daily, but he was probably also cutting protein from somewhere else. You could do that, for example, by replacing normal pasta and rice with low-protein staple foods. So if you want to know more about how to set up a low protein diet to protect your kidney function in all the stages, my video appears for you, and this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Ciao!